Welcome back for Proverbs 28, verses 1 through 14. I'm glad you're here. If you got any questions or comments, leave those in the comment section. Likes and shares are also appreciated. Let's go ahead and get started with verse 1. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. I think we've all known someone that just had a guilty conscience. And we're always looking out, trying to make sure that there wasn't someone pursuing them or looking for them, I think it's just part of the mental framework of living that lifestyle, is the fear that comes with getting caught or having to answer for what you've done. So obviously the easiest way to avoid that is to avoid the wickedness in the first place, and then you've got nothing to be nervous about. Verse 2, when a land transgresses, it has many rulers. With a man of understanding and knowledge, its stability will long continue. So it took me a little bit to kind of wrap my head around this one. But it says when a land transgresses, and so when it uses land in that context, it's talking about a group of people in a particular land. So when the people transgress, they do wrong, there are many rulers. And so basically if the people are evil, are transgressing, the rulership, the stability of the nation is undermined, and so there will be many rulers in that time. One will take place and then be toppled. One will take place and then be toppled. There's no stability in that lifestyle. But with a man of understanding and knowledge, stability will long continue. So from here, we're not talking about necessarily a group of people anymore, but a specific person. And if that person has understanding and knowledge, stability will long continue. So this could be applicable in your work, if things are constantly changing. Just know that as long as you're seeking understanding and knowledge, and you're seeking to serve those that you work for and work with, your stability will long continue. And so I think that's kind of what I was able to apply from that verse. Verse 3, a poor man who oppresses the poor is a beating rain that leaves no food. So a poor man who continues to oppress the poor, that continues to pull down other people, and I think this can be applied in other ways. A foolish man who continues to oppress the foolish, I think is the same. Basically, a person in a bad situation that, instead of doing the work to get out of that situation, tries to bring more people into it and tries to propagate it and tries to make it worse for everyone, is like a beating rain that leaves no food. So in this day and time, rain was appreciated because it created the crops and it caused food to grow. But it was also very annoying because they didn't have quality roofing, they didn't have quality clothing, and so when it rained, they got wet. Even when they would find places to stay dry, it wasn't convenient. It wasn't, it's not like it is today where you just go inside and do something different. So by being a poor man who oppresses the poor, that's the impression that you're leaving other folks with. Verse 4, those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but those who keep the law strive against them. So those who forsake the law are essentially praising and becoming part of and propagating the wicked and wickedness. But those who keep the law are striving to go against that and to battle that. Verse 5, evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand it completely. So evil doesn't understand, is not able to comprehend true justice and what it looks like. But those that seek the Lord have a better or have a better understanding of that. Verse 6, better is a poor man who walks in integrity than a rich man who is crooked in his ways. So this is another one I think that's repeated elsewhere. But some of these I know I needed to hear again. So it's better to be, sorry about that. It's better to be poor and at least know that what you have gained is with integrity and that it's honestly yours. That's better than being rich and having unjust gain and issues you've got to deal with and people that are mad at you and that type of stuff. So it's better to gain your wealth slowly and honestly than to try to increase it quickly and put yourself in a less than integral in a situation to where you've got to answer for wrongs and deal with the issues that got you to that. The one who keeps the law is a son with understanding, but a companion of gluttons shames his father. So the one who keeps the law, who follows the rules and seeks to do good, is a son with understanding, but a companion of gluttons shames his fathers. So gluttons in this context is also translated as worthless and vile. People that have no true, foolish people, people that you don't want to hang out with, and so by being a companion of those people, it brings shame to not only you but to your family also. Verse 8: whoever multiplies his wealth by interest and profit gathers it for him who is generous to the poor. So again, if you look into this verse, it's not those who multiply their wealth by honest and straightforward interest, or it's not saying that you can't charge interest, I don't think, and it's not saying that all bankers are going to hell because that's their business model. It's talking about, and even in one of the other versions, it says profit that comes from charging interest to the poor. So basically, by charging too much interest or charging interest in situations where you shouldn't be, by not gaining your wealth justly, you essentially are gathering it for someone else to give to the poor. Like, it's not going to be a long-term thing for you. It's not something you're going to be able to hold on to. Verse 9: if one turns away his ear from the hearing of the law, even his prayer is an abomination. So if you have no interest in seeking the law, the fact that you're praying is an abomination. It doesn't, obviously, it doesn't get anywhere, but it's also, adding to your list of things you'll have to answer for. So this could be applied in situations where people are, just trying to use God as a get out of trouble free card, or only when I need Him I'll pray to Him. But hopefully that's not any of us. Verse 10: whoever misleads the upright into an evil way will fall into his own pit, but the blameless will have a goodly inheritance. So if you seek to mislead someone else, you'll fall into your own trap, but the blameless will have a goodly inheritance. Verse 11: a rich man is wise in his own eyes, but a poor man has understanding. A poor man who has understanding will find him out. So a rich man thinks himself wise and thinks too much of himself. But even a poor man who has understanding, who's able to look at the full situation, will find him out and will uncover his lack of wisdom. Verse 12, when the righteous triumph, there is great glory, but when the wicked rise, people hide themselves. So when the righteous have success and have gain, people, people celebrate that, and they receive, there's great glory there. But when the wicked rise, when the wicked come to power, when the wicked, have gain, people hide themselves. People don't want to be associated, and people definitely don't want to be, subordinate to wicked rulers. Verse 13, whoever conceals his transgressions will not prosper, but he who confesses and forsakes them will obtain mercy. So by trying to conceal your sin and things you're going through, you will not prosper, and you won't have any gain from that. But if you find someone who you're able to confess to and have conversations with, build up some accountability, that way you will be able to forsake them and obtain mercy. I think it's in that order for a reason. So I think your being able to confess leads to your ability to forsake and obtain mercy. And then lastly for today, verse 14, blessed is the one who fears the Lord always, but whoever hardens his heart will fall into calamity. So by having a healthy fear of the Lord, a healthy respect of the Lord, it will bring blessing to you. But whoever hardens your heart and turns away from God, and turns away from his teaching and his wisdom, he will fall into a calamity or destruction, death, etc. So that's what I've got for today. We'll pick up on Monday with verse 15 and try to get through the end of Proverbs here. And I will see you then. Thanks for being here.